Kasha Williams had just transferred to a new school. She came from a place where survival meant learning to fight, where 8 years of mixed martial arts had turned her fists into weapons. She was a black belt wrapped in teenage silence. But the bullies didn't see that. They saw a quiet black girl, alone, an easy target. So they came at her with demands and threats, escalating the harassment every day. Then one afternoon, they crossed a line. The hallway watched, but Kesha didn't break. They thought she was weak. They were wrong. The alarm buzzed at 5:30 a.m., but Kesha was already awake, staring at the unfamiliar ceiling. Detroit felt like a lifetime away, though it had only been 3 days since the moving truck pulled away. 40 minutes later, sweat dripped from her forehead as she finished her morning routine in the basement. Jab, cross, hook, hook, uppercut. 8 years of training had made the movements instinctive. Kesha breakfast, her mother called. Dr. Patricia Williams stood at the stove in her scrubs from the night shift at Millbrook General. "How are you feeling about today, baby?" "Fine, just another school." Her mother's eyes held concern. "I know this transition isn't easy. Millbrook is different from what we're used to." Different was an understatement. As Kasha walked through the front doors of Millbrook High, the sea of white faces confirmed what she already knew. Out of 800 students, she could count the black faces on 2 hands. First period biology went smoothly. Second period history was tolerable. But lunch was where the real education began. Well, look what wandered in here." The voice carried across 3 tables. Derek Morrison stood 6'2" with confident swagger. His Letterman jacket hung perfectly and his smile never reached his cold blue eyes. Behind him, Jake Wilson and Tommy Bradley flanked him. The cafeteria fell quiet. Kesha continued toward an empty table, but Derek stepped into her path. "I'm talking to you. We need to have a conversation about how things work around here. See, new students usually pay a little welcome fee. Call it insurance. Make sure nothing bad happens to them." Jake and Tommy flanked her sides. "Insurance against what?" Kesha's voice stayed level. "Accidents. Lockers getting jammed. Books going missing. Funny how clumsy some folks can be around here, especially the ones who don't belong," Tommy added. Kesha set her lunch tray down. "I don't pay protection money." Derek's smile faltered. "That's where you're wrong, girl. Everyone pays. Question is whether you pay easy or you pay hard. Unless you think you're too good for our little system here. I don't pay at all." She picked up her tray and walked around him. "This isn't over," he called after her. "Nobody disrespects me in my school." At a table across the room, Marcus Thompson shook his head. Girl has no idea what she just started. The harassment started before second period ended. Her lock wouldn't turn. Someone had jammed gum into the keyhole. Third period, her notebook went missing. She spotted Tommy showing it off, reading her handwriting aloud mockingly. She approached calmly, took a photo of him holding it as evidence, and he threw it at her feet. Marcus appeared. "You need some advice. Derek Morrison isn't just some rich kid. His dad owns half the businesses in town. His uncle's the police chief. Last year, a transfer student, Miguel, ended up with a broken nose and 3 cracked ribs. Fell downstairs according to the report. Transferred 2 weeks later. Are you trying to scare me? I'm trying to save you. Derek doesn't fight fair, and he doesn't fight alone." The afternoon brought escalating harassment. Chocolate milk spilled on her backpack. Safety goggles went missing in chemistry. By 6th period, a pattern had emerged, always with plausible deniability. But 7th period pushed too far. In English class, Derek raised his hand. "Mrs. Patterson, I think we should hear from our newest student about this book." Kesha responded thoughtfully, about To Kill a Mockingbird's exploration of prejudice. When she finished, Derek started slow clapping. "Wow, that was so well spoken. You're really articulate for." He paused, letting the implication hang. "It's just refreshing. Sometimes people from certain backgrounds struggle with academic discussions." The silence grew heavy. "I'm sure you'll find that people from all backgrounds can surprise you," Kesha replied steadily. Inside, something had crystallized. Derek had just crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. Friday morning, Kesha found her locker decorated with a banana and a note. "Welcome to the jungle," in Derek's handwriting. "Oh, did you not like your present?" Derek appeared. "I thought you might be homesick for the urban wildlife. Creative, but you might want to work on your penmanship. It makes it easy to identify the source." Throughout the morning, harassment intensified. Itching powder in gym clothes. Tray deliberately knocked from her hands. The breaking point came during 8th period study hall. Derek pulled out his phone and played Kesha's voice through a speaker. Her English class discussion. Edited and manipulated to make her sound racist against white people. "Guess we know how she really feels about us," Derek said. "That's not what I said." Kesha's voice cut through the noise. "Are you calling me a liar? Everyone just heard you. Everyone just heard you manipulate recordings. By tomorrow, the edited recording would be all over social media." The damage was done. Marcus found her after school. "That recording was fake. I was in English class. Doesn't matter now. Damage is done. You could fight it. Prove it was edited, or I could fight the source." Marcus grabbed her arm. "Don't do anything stupid. Derek's expecting you to retaliate. Maybe it's time to give him what he's expecting." Outside, Derek and his crew were celebrating in the parking lot. Kesha dropped her backpack and walked toward them with purpose. Well, look, who decided to come talk? Derek straightened, ready to apologize. I'm done with your games, Derek. This ends now. Oh, it ends when I say it ends. You think you can just walk into my school and disrespect me? Last chance, Derek. Agree to leave me alone. Derek laughed. What are you going to do? I'm going to give you exactly what you've been asking for. The moment Derek reached for her arm, Kesha moved. Her training kicked in with fluid precision. She twisted away, seized his wrist, and used his momentum to send him stumbling. Her elbow connected with his solar plexus. Jake lunged. Next she ducked, swept his legs, sent him sprawling. Tommy hesitated. What followed was brutal and efficient. Derek had size and rage, but Kesha had skill and 8 years of disciplined training. She moved like water around his attacks, striking precisely when openings appeared. By the time it ended, Derek lay face down on the asphalt with Kesha's knee between his shoulder blades. Derek's nose bled freely. Jake nursed a swollen eye. Tommy held his ribs. Are we done? Kesha asked. Get off me, Derek gasped. Are we done? You're going to leave me alone. All three of you. No more games. No more harassment. No more edited recordings. Are we clear? Yeah, we're clear. Kesha released him and walked back to retrieve her backpack. The next morning, rumors had evolved into legend. During second period, Jessica Martinez approached Kesha nervously with her friend Amber. Can we talk to you? There are these guys from Riverside High bothering us at the bus stop. They grabbed Amber's backpack, dumped everything out, said they'd be back today. What exactly are you asking me to do? Would you come with us to the bus stop? Maybe if they see you there, they'll leave us alone. At 3:15, Kesha walked to the bus stop on Maple Street with Jessica and Amber. They usually show up around 3:20, Jessica whispered. The bus doesn't come until 3:45. At exactly 3:22, a beat-up Camaro turned onto the street. 3 guys climbed out: Brad, Connor, and Tyler. Brad spotted Kesha immediately. Who's the new girl? Nobody, Jessica said quickly. Connor laughed. Looks like somebody to me. Tyler stepped closer to Amber. Did you bring backup, sweetheart? Actually, Kesha said clearly, I'm here to have a conversation with you 3 about how you're going to leave these girls alone from now on. The 3 boys burst into laughter. And what if we don't feel like ending anything? Tyler asked. Then you'll discover that some people don't make easy targets. Brad moved to flank her left, Connor the right. Tyler reached out to grab Amber's shoulder, and Kesha moved. Her left hand intercepted Tyler's arm, twisting it away. Tyler yelped and stumbled backward. Connor started forward, but Kesha was already repositioning. Last warning, walk away instead. Brad charged from her left while Connor came from the right. Kesha dropped low, sweeping Brad's legs while pivoting to catch Connor with an elbow. Both boys hit the ground hard. Tyler pulled out his phone. You crazy witch. I'm calling the cops. Go ahead. Tell them 3 high school boys got beaten up while trying to assault 2 younger girls. Behind her, Jessica had been recording. I got all of it, including the part where Tyler tried to grab Amber. Brad wiped blood from his split lip. You have no idea who you're messing with. 3 cowards who pick on girls smaller than them. Yeah, I've got a pretty good idea. Connor limped back toward the car. This isn't over. Yes, it is. If I see any of you near these girls again, our next conversation won't be this polite. As the Camaro pulled away, Jessica lowered her phone with shaking hands. Everyone needs to see this. Everyone needs to know that someone's finally standing up to these creeps. By 7 p.m., Jessica's video had been shared over 300 times. By 9 p.m. it had reached 1,000. The caption read, Girl stands up to bullies harassing students at bus stop. Comments poured in. Someone connected the dots to Derek Morrison. Word spread fast. Derek sat in his bedroom watching the video, his nose still swollen. His phone buzzed constantly with friends sending him the link. This can't be happening, he muttered. Meanwhile, Brad Matthews was having a similar conversation. How did we look so weak? 3 of us against 1 girl and we got destroyed, Tyler said, nursing his wrist. If word gets out that some high school girl can take us down, our reputation's shot, Brad finished. Nobody's going to respect us after this. The viral video created chaos at Millbrook High. Principal Martinez arrived Monday morning to find her voicemail full. Some parents demanded Kesha be expelled for violence. Others praised her for protecting their children. Most wanted to know why the school wasn't addressing harassment their kids had been reporting. 12 students came forward with harassment complaints over the weekend, Mrs. Chen said. All of them mentioned seeing the video and deciding they couldn't stay quiet anymore. During first period, students surrounded Kesha wanting to thank her or ask questions. You're like a real-life action hero, said a sophomore named Danny. I'm not a hero. I just got tired of being pushed around. But the administration was scrambling. Principal Martinez called an emergency school board meeting. The incident happened off school property. Board President Walsh insisted, we can distance ourselves from this, can we? Because half the comments are about how our school has a bullying problem we've been ignoring. By lunch, over 50 students had signed up for a support group Jessica organized. As Kesha walked through the hallways, students nodded respectfully. Teachers became more vigilant. but she also noticed Derek and his friends watching with undisguised hatred. Tuesday morning, Kesha was called to the principal's office. "We need to discuss what happened at the bus stop," Principal Martinez said. "I've received 17 calls from parents. Some want you expelled, others want you given a medal. The school board is meeting tonight. Handle what situation? I defended 2 students from assault. You beat up 3 boys and posted it online." "I didn't post anything, and those boys were terrorizing students from this school." "Kesha, I understand your frustration, but vigilante justice isn't the answer. We have procedures. Your procedures didn't stop Derek Morrison from harassing me for a week. Your protocols didn't protect Jessica and Amber." Principal Martinez rubbed her temples. "If you agree to stop the physical interventions, we can probably avoid suspension. And if I don't agree, then we'll have to consider more serious consequences." As Kesha left the office, Danny and 3 other students waited. "We heard you got called in," Danny said. "Are you in trouble?" "Maybe. Why?" "Because we wanted to ask you something. Would you teach us what you know? How to defend ourselves?" "I've been getting pushed around since 7th grade. Yesterday, for the first time, nobody bothered me." "That won't last forever." "Exactly. That's why we need to learn." That afternoon, Kesha arrived at the gym to find 30 students waiting. Coach Rodriguez emerged from his office. "As far as I'm concerned, this is a fitness club focused on self-defense and confidence building, completely within school guidelines." The students erupted in cheers. "Before we start," Kesha held up her hand, "everyone needs to understand something. This isn't about fighting. This is about having the skills and confidence to protect yourself and others. We don't look for trouble, but we don't run from it either." As she began teaching, Derek and Jake watched through the glass doors. "Look at them. She's building an army," Derek said. "What do we do about it?" Derek's smile was cold. "We make sure everyone understands that actions have consequences." By Friday, Kesha's program had grown to over 60 students. The gym buzzed with activity as teenagers practiced escaping holds and building confidence. "Remember," Kesha called out, "the goal is always to de-escalate and get away safely. Fighting is the last resort." Sarah, who had been withdrawn just a week ago, now stood straighter. "I can't believe how different I feel, like I actually have some control." "Same," Danny replied. "Yesterday, when those seniors tried to mess with me, I just looked them in the eye and kept walking. They backed off. But outside, forces were mobilizing against them." That Friday evening, Derek sat in his car at a diner, waiting. At 8:30, Brad Matthews's Camaro pulled up. Brad, Connor, and Tyler climbed out. "Took you long enough," Derek said as they slid into the booth with him and Jake. "Had to make sure nobody followed us," Brad replied. "I still think this is a bad idea." Tommy shifted uncomfortably. "Nobody's going to find out," Derek snapped. "Look, we all have the same problem. This girl made us look weak. Our reputations are garbage." "It's worse than that," Jake added. "She's teaching other kids to fight back. Yesterday, some freshman actually pushed back when I tried to mess with him." Derek pulled out his phone showing training footage. 60 kids. In a month, it'll be 100. "So what's your plan?" Brad asked. "We can't touch her physically. Too many cameras. But we can destroy her legally. Assault charges. My dad knows people in the legal system. We file complaints. Claim she attacked us unprovoked. Get her arrested, expelled, maybe sent to juvenile detention. But there's video evidence." Connor frowned. "Videos can be misinterpreted. My dad's already talked to our attorney. Once she's arrested, her little fight club falls apart. Kids go back to being scared, and we go back to being in control." The 6 boys spent the next hour coordinating their stories, planning to present a united front claiming Kesha was a dangerous individual who attacked innocent students without provocation. Monday morning, Dr. Patricia Williams received the call. "Dr. Williams, this is Sergeant Hayes with Millbrook Police. We need you to come down to the station with your daughter. Assault charges have been filed against her." Patricia's blood went cold. "Assault charges? That's impossible. We have 6 complainants, ma'am. I suggest you contact a lawyer." By the time Patricia reached Millbrook High, police were waiting. Principal Martinez looked stricken. 6 boys from 2 different schools have filed formal complaints claiming Kesha attacked them without provocation. "That's ridiculous," Patricia said firmly. "My daughter was defending herself." "The complainants tell a different story," Sergeant Hayes said. "They're requesting restraining orders." When Kesha was called to the office, she understood that Derek's retaliation had taken a form she hadn't anticipated. "Am I under arrest?" she asked quietly. "Not yet, but you need to come to the station for questioning." As word spread that Kesha had been taken by police, the student body erupted. Jessica burst into tears. "This is my fault. If I hadn't posted that video." "No," Sarah said firmly. "This is Derek's fault and all the other bullies who can't stand that someone finally stood up to them." Within an hour, students were organizing. Danny created a group chat called Justice for Kesha that grew to over 200 members in 30 minutes. Marcus Thompson led an impromptu protest in the cafeteria. "They're trying to destroy her for protecting us," he announced, "for giving us the courage to protect ourselves." At the police station, Kesha sat with her mother and a court-appointed lawyer. Ms. Rodriguez, tell me exactly what happened. Starting with your first day at school, Kesha recounted everything: Derek's protection money demand, the escalating harassment, the edited recording, the parking lot confrontation, the bus stop incident. Why didn't you tell me about this? Patricia asked, hurt evident. Because I thought I could handle it myself, and I knew if you complained to the school, it would just make things worse. Do you have any evidence of this harassment? Some. I took photos of things they did to my locker. There might be security footage. Back at school, Coach Rodriguez confronted Principal Martinez. You know this is wrong. You've seen what that girl has done for our students. My hands are tied. 6 families have filed complaints. The school board is in crisis mode. I've watched Derek Morrison and his friends terrorize students for years. I've filed reports, recommended interventions. And what happened? Nothing. But one girl stands up to them, and suddenly everyone's concerned about violence. The conversation was interrupted. Principal Martinez, there are about 50 students in the main hallway holding signs. They're demanding Kesha's charges be dropped. Call the school board president. Tell him we have a situation. 2 weeks later, the night before trial, Kesha sat reviewing her testimony with Ms. Rodriguez. Remember, stick to the facts. Don't let their lawyer provoke you. What if the judge doesn't believe me? Then we'll appeal. But I think you'll be surprised by how much support you have. Dr. Williams entered carrying a box of emails, letters of support from parents, students, teachers from other schools. The prosecutor's office is getting similar correspondence. Ms. Rodriguez smiled. Public opinion is strongly in your favor. Across town, Derek was meeting with his father's attorney, Mr. Blackwood. If any inconsistencies emerge in your testimony tomorrow, this entire case falls apart. Filing false police reports is a felony. Derek shifted uncomfortably. There won't be any inconsistencies. The Millbrook County Courthouse buzzed with tension as supporters filled every seat. Judge Patricia Thompson called court to order at 9 a.m. The state versus Kesha Williams. Charges of assault in the second degree. Mr. Blackwood stood confidently. Your Honor, this case is about a pattern of unprovoked violence perpetrated by the defendant against 6 innocent young men. Ms. Rodriguez rose. Your Honor, what we have here is not unprovoked assault, but a young woman defending herself and others from systematic harassment and bullying. The prosecution called Derek first. He recounted a fabricated version where Kesha had approached him aggressively. I was just trying to be friendly, Derek testified. I offered to show her around. Instead, she became hostile and threatened me. And what happened in the parking lot? She cornered me and my friends after school. We tried to walk away, but she followed us. When I attempted to de-escalate, she attacked without warning. Ms. Rodriguez stood for cross-examination. Mr. Morrison, isn't it true that you demanded protection money from my client on her first day? I don't know what you mean. Isn't it also true that you created an edited audio recording to humiliate her? Derek's composure slipped. I never edited anything. We'll see about that. Your Honor, I'd like to present Defense Exhibit A. The courtroom fell silent as the original unedited recording played, followed by Derek's manipulated version. The difference was stark. Derek's face flushed as whispers erupted. That was just a joke. A joke that you used to humiliate my client in front of 30 students. The prosecution's case continued with Jake and Tommy, but their stories fell apart under cross-examination. Tommy contradicted Jake's timeline. Jake couldn't explain security footage showing them harassing other students when Brad Matthews took the stand. His testimony crumbled faster. Ms. Rodriguez played Jessica's unedited video, clearly showing Brad and his friends threatening the girls before Kesha intervened. The defense began with Marcus Thompson, whose testimony about Derek's 3-year bullying campaign was devastating. Student after student took the stand, describing systematic intimidation. Jessica's emotional testimony about the bus stop incident brought several jurors to tears. Tyler grabbed my friend's arm when she tried to walk away. We were scared and outnumbered. Kesha saved us. Sarah testified. Derek and his friends made school a nightmare. Kesha gave us hope. Principal Martinez's reluctant testimony about ignored harassment reports added institutional weight. Finally, Kesha took the stand. I never wanted to fight anyone. I just wanted to go to school safely. When that wasn't possible, I defended myself and others who couldn't defend themselves. Ms. Rodriguez's closing argument spoke directly to justice. Your Honor, the evidence is clear. My client acted in self-defense against systematic harassment. To punish her for protecting herself would send a message that bullies can operate with impunity while their victims face charges for standing up. Judge Thompson deliberated for 30 minutes before returning. The courtroom held its breath. After reviewing all evidence and testimony, this court finds the defendant not guilty on all charges. Furthermore, I recommend that the district attorney investigate potential perjury charges against the complainants. The courtroom erupted in cheers as Kesha hugged her mother and attorney. Derek sat frozen, his face pale. Behind him, his father's expression shifted from confidence to fury. You told me this was a sure thing. Your son lied to me about the evidence. Blackwood was already packing his briefcase. Outside the courthouse, celebration was beginning. Students who had testified surrounded Kesha with tears of joy. You did it. Jessica cried. We did it, Kasha corrected. All of us together. Dr. Williams watched her daughter with pride. I'm so proud of you, baby, not just for winning, but for how you handled all of this. The district attorney will definitely pursue perjury charges, Ms. Rodriguez said. False police reports, lying under oath. These boys have serious legal troubles ahead. Outside, reporters interviewed students about the landmark case that had become a national conversation about bullying, self-defense, and institutional failure. This sends a message, Marcus told a reporter. You can't terrorize people and then play victim when they fight back. The weeks following brought swift changes to Millbrook High. Principal Martinez implemented new policies. Zero tolerance became actual zero tolerance. Derek Morrison never returned to school. The perjury charges, combined with civil suits, led to his enrollment in a military academy 3 states away. Jake Wilson and Tommy Bradley pleaded guilty to filing false reports, receiving community service and probation. The Riverside boys faced similar consequences. Brad Matthews was expelled and charged with harassment. Connor and Tyler were suspended pending legal proceedings, but the most significant change came in Kesha's self-defense program, which was officially expanded school-wide 3 months after the trial. Coach Rodriguez watched over 100 students participate in what was now called the Student Empowerment and Safety Program. I never imagined it would grow this big, he told Kesha. Neither did I, but I think people were ready for something like this. They just needed permission to believe they could be strong. The program had evolved beyond physical self-defense to include conflict resolution, bystander intervention training, and peer mediation. Sarah, one of Kesha's first students, now served as a peer instructor. The best part isn't learning to fight, it's learning that you don't have to be afraid anymore. The transformation was evident throughout the school. Students walked with more confidence, spoke up more readily, and supported each other when problems arose. Danny led a peer support group for students dealing with anxiety and depression related to past bullying. Kesha didn't just teach us to defend ourselves physically. She taught us that we deserve to feel safe and that we have the power to make that happen. The ripple effects extended beyond Millbrook High. Other schools requested similar programs. Anti-bullying organizations nationwide reached out. College recruiters took notice. On a quiet Friday afternoon in spring, 6 months after the trial, Kesha found herself in the same cafeteria where Derek had first demanded protection money. But the atmosphere was completely different. Students from different grades sat together. The underlying tension was gone. Jessica approached with a letter. This came to the main office for you. Kesha opened it to find a handwritten note from a student in California. I saw your story on the news and started my own self-defense group here. We have 30 members now and 0 bullying incidents this semester. Thank you for showing us that we don't have to accept being treated badly. Another one? Marcus asked, settling across from her. Another one, Kesha confirmed, adding the letter to a growing collection that as she looked around the transformed cafeteria, then out to where students practiced confidence-building exercises in the courtyard. Kesha reflected on how much had changed since that first day when she'd refused to pay Derek's protection money. She'd come to Millbrook hoping to avoid trouble and get through school quietly. Instead, she'd discovered that sometimes the most important battles are the ones you don't choose, they choose you. And sometimes standing up for what's right changes not just your own life, but an entire community. The bell rang. As students gathered their belongings and headed to class, they moved with energy and confidence that would have been unimaginable months before. Walking through hallways that once felt hostile, surrounded by students who had found their voices and their strengths, Kesha Williams knew that some fights are worth everything you put into them.